Started as an East Coast vibe, now I'm going worldwide. We got this bitch going crazy. I used to take the Mazda for a drive, now I'm on the 405 like it's fuck you, pay me. We really sick of standing outside, had to push them all aside. It's what you get for trying to play me. I bet they make a movie when I die just to talk about my life. They need an actor to portray me. I got this motherfucker clear like an eye drop. I got elevator flow, I'm on a high top. I got little something stacked like an IHOP. This is 05, you will put it on your iPod. I'ma give you something that you can't forget. Put the price up, baby, add the tax a bit. Know you saw the comma, thought it was an accident. Well, it wasn't. It's about time the kids buzzing. I'm trying to get a peek in the elevator. But if we talking peaks, I need mine like the Himalayas. I'm talking yay high, man. I never had a vertical limit. I ain't seen you put in work in a minute. I gotta put on for the family. That goes for every person that's in it. Used to scrape by working as a service attendant till I got more. Bitch, I ain't comfy. I need the top floor. Doing anything to get that spot for. Pop up. Started as an East Coast vibe. Now I'm going worldwide. We got this bitch going crazy. I used to take the Mazda for a drive. Now I'm on the 405 like it's fuck you, pay. We really sick of standing outside. Had to push them all aside. It's what you get for trying to play me. I bet they make a movie when I die just to talk about my life. They need an actor to portray me. I ain't settling for nothing that be under an M. There's only one of me, there's 100 of them. Gotta listen close, I drop hundreds of gems. From the start, no, I wasn't pretend. With the world on my back, had to drop my own ego. Problems at the crib, we couldn't fix at Home Depot. That was on tilt, mom's off the vino. Room full of smoke like we lived in a casino. She know, day I moved out is when I opened my eyes. Looking for the truth like God show me a sign. I'm not religious or the holiest kind, but the blessings came to me when I opened my mind. I was running around the city, man, I knew I had to make some. Wasn't raised a thief, but if I had to, I would take some. Worked the Frito-Lay, I was writing on my breaks, son. Plotting on a record, waiting for the day we break one.
Nah, I was just, no, I'm really busy, just wrapping up some stuff in the studio. Yeah, everything's good. I mean, it's just been a lot of, like, settling in and whatnot. Yeah. I'm not really sure when I'm coming back. I don't have any plans of it right now,
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve.
Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to the Designated Spittaz. Oh my god, I never put us in the damn thing. So we are live and you guys are seeing a black screen, so give me 1 second and I'll get that going. Derek, my friend, how are you doing?
Well, I'd feel a lot better if the Yankees could start hitting. I'm getting kind of pissed off.
I was about to say, you're doing a lot better than me right now, considering I just screwed up the biggest damn thing you can have on the show. But, hey, folks, that's me for right now, okay?
And sorry, I spelled the Angles for 2 games in a row and nobody noticed. Like, nobody pointed it out to me. My lovely audience didn't point it out to me. There we are.
There you are. Now you're on the screen. So, guys, like I always say, look, man, here's the deal. You just get to see how we do some things behind the scenes. This is called a behind-the-scenes look for you guys, how things are done. All right. Okay.
I always tell my people there's no truck parked. There's no satellite truck parked outside with a bunch of nerds in it. We got to do all this ourselves.
Damn right.
You know what I mean?
I'm not too smart of a guy with this stuff. Okay. I am not too smart of a guy with this stuff. This is not my expertise, put it that way. But we're doing better than the Yankees are doing right now. So it is what it is. What the hell? You know what I mean? It is what it is. We're definitely doing better than those Yankees are. Speaking of the Yankees, we had a ball game today, Derek, and it wasn't a cutie. Put it that way. It wasn't a fine lady walking down the street. That's not what we got today. We got fucking Humpty Dumpty. Is basically to sum up what we got today. That basically sums it up in my opinion. What's going on with the Yankees, man? Are you concerned at all with this team?
Well, I feel like I'm stuck in a time warp to 2021 lately, the way the offense is. 3 runs or less in 8 out of the 10 home games. I'm seeing a lot of solo home runs, buddy. I'm seeing even Judge, like it took him, 5 home runs or 6 home runs before he hit one with somebody on base.
Yep.
I feel like we're getting a lot more of the same problems that we've seen in years past. We got Glaber coming out of his shoes in situations that don't call for that. We're seeing these bizarre lineups. We're seeing IKF play center field like 3 times in a week.
Isaiah Connor Mays.
Don't give me that. The guy had 99% catch probability, and he's laying out like fucking like Jim Edmonds. I call that the old Clint Frazier. Make it look hard. You know, the anti Joe DiMaggio. He used to make it look easy. You know, he'd run one down 450 feet in the gap, behind, ducking monuments and running around foul pole or flag poles, and still run it down.
What is it? What is that damn thing called that kids do nowadays, where they jump all over the place? What is it called? Parkour.
Parkour. Yeah,
that's what he used to do out there. He was doing parkour out there to catch a damn routine fly ball.
I'll borrow one of your words. Sprezzatura. They said he'd make tough things look easy. Yep, I know 2 Italian words, so that's the other one is Spetagolo.
Oh, okay. All right, little Spetagolo action. Okay, all right. But no, man, I mean, it's tough. You know, I called the game today with Bad Dog, and it was a tough one. We got a little bit of action towards the end of the game, and other than that, it was nothing. I mean, there's so many chances. It's hard to kind of sit there and go, what type of offense are the Yankees? Who are they? Who is this team? Because at the end of last year, you know, we were told that, hey, the Yankees need more contact in the lineup, and that's how they're gonna win. They got to be a little more like teams like the Astros. And what you're getting now is again a team who's trying to do things that right now they can't do. Glaber Torres, for an example, you said it. He has the worst right-handed swing in baseball. Oh,
absolutely, very unconventional.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You see this guy swing, go, what the frick? Has this guy ever swung a bat before? He's all over the place. Everything's a home run swing. I love Oswaldo Cabrera. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy. Man on second today, he's swinging out of his shoes. All you got to do is touch the ball.
Yeah.
Move the guy over. Sack fly. You got to run it in, and the Yankees are up. They get a leadoff double, and what do the Yankees do? 3 strikeouts in a row.
Yeah.
Not even touching a baseball. And I feel like we're almost on repeat year after year after year after year at this point when it comes to these type of things. And it's getting upsetting. It's getting hard to watch. But on our first topic of the day, I definitely want to talk about this. The left side of the Yankees infield right now. And that is Oswald Peraza at third base and Anthony Volpe at shortstop. Mm-hmm. Off the bat, looking at these guys, you could tell why they're so highly ranked defensively. They both look fantastic. Peraza has not looked overmatched at third base.
Yeah.
I think he's made every play. There was a slow roller today that he wouldn't have made the play anyway. If he picked it up, he wouldn't have even been close. It would have been a base hit.
He looks better at second.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He looked great at second base, and that's the type of guy he is, and it depends on what the Yankees are going to eventually do with these guys. But do you agree that they both need to stay in this lineup?
Yeah, well, I mean, you saw yesterday what they can do. They combined to bring in 2 runs. I feel like Volpe right now is having, he's taking his rookie lumps where he's,
right.
He'll have a couple of good games and then a couple of bad games. Yeah. I feel like Oswald Peraza, because he played last year, is probably going to be a little bit more consistent. Yeah. Just out of the gate. But I like that he brings the speed element. Paul O'Neill is very high on the guy, and I trust Paul O'Neill. How many prospects did he see come up? He played on how many world championship teams? Yeah. The guy knows baseball.
Yeah, of course.
And
he knows hitting. We know he knows hitting, no doubt about
it. You don't hear him say that about Tyler Wade. You don't hear him say, this Tyler Wade's going to be a 30-30. No, you don't hear him say that about Aaron Hicks or any of these other guys. You hear him say Peraza's going to be a 30-30 guy, level swing, a lot of speed, hustles, plays good defense, really solid player. I think you got no choice but to leave him on the roster. Now, do I think the Yankees will keep him on the roster if Donaldson's healthy? No, I do not, because that's just who they are.
Yeah. And that's the sad thing. And going back to what O'Neill said right there, I talked about this a couple of times. Watching Peraza, the one thing I know he can do, Yankees love exit velocities. They love exit velo and all that. I don't know if they really do because IKF's still on the team, and Aaron Hicks, but apparently they do love that. And the one thing about Oswald Peraza is the 2 base hits that in the last couple of games were absolute rockets to left field. And that does happen with a level swing. My one part of Volpe's game that's worrying me early, and I don't want to make this a big deal because it's not, because it's still too early of a sample size. Volpe has an uppercut swing. He doesn't have a level plane swing. He has an uppercut.
Yep.
One thing that pitchers are already noticing, we can throw it 90 up, and Volpe's going to swing right underneath it. He's not catching up to it. He's also 5'9", which also makes it a little more difficult. That's not, again, nowadays, you always have to continue to go, I'm not knocking the guy. It's an observation. I think Anthony Volpe is going to be fine. I think the Yankees need him. And yeah, like Derek said, there's growing pains here. This is going to happen. There's going to be times when Volpe lets us down with men on base. He's going to strike out. It's going to be times like today he makes an error in the field. Oh, my God, he made his first error. I can't believe it. It actually happened. He hasn't made any yet all year. He's looked amazing at shortstop defensively. But as Derek also said, we see why people are high on these guys. Mm-hmm. And I think it is vital that the New York Yankees keep these guys in the lineup. And Derek, you put out a lineup earlier on Twitter, and this has to do with Bader and Donaldson coming back. So let me throw that on the screen real quick so we can actually talk about that a little bit, because it goes into this topic of conversation with potentially Donaldson coming back for the Yankees and what the Yankees are going to do. So here it is right here, and I'll read it off to everybody. With Stan out another 5+ weeks and Bader coming back, the Yankees need to work on the roster to be more athletic. And here's how Derek would do it, and I actually completely agree with this. Volpe at shortstop, Judge in right field, Rizzo at first base, Torres second base DH, LeMahieu DH third base, Bader in center, Cabrera in left, Trevino catcher, and Peraza at third base / utility. Then you also have Chaparro and Dunham coming up. You're sending down Calhoun and El Franchi, baby, and you're cutting Aaron Hicks, which is all friggin' obvious ass moves. Yeah. That is shocking that the Yankees probably won't do this, to be fair.
Yeah. So to be fully honest, I don't think Chaparro right now is an everyday major league player. So I've got him on the bench because
I agree.
I feel like he will at least run into one once in a while. I would rather have him DHing than Willie frickin' Calhoun. Okay. Yeah,
I agree.
I don't care about lefty in that situation. Give me a good hitter.
Yep.
Do I think he's going to come up and hit 330? No. But the guy's a strong enough hitter that I think he's going to run into some mistakes. And Dunham is a guy who's got a nice level swing. He's got the, I guess you would say the classic lefty swing, right? Which plays well at Yankee Stadium. And my thought is maybe he runs into one once in a while. But really, it's more about the energy, the youth. I think we're seeing why Franchi and Calhoun have bounced around for a while. The league just has adjusted them. Franchi had a nice little run there, but the league has kind of adjusted the way they're pitching him. They're giving him high fastballs now too, and sliders, and he's not hitting them. And then also, you look at Calhoun, he's done nothing. Only thing I see him do is foul pitches off. And you know, I get he had a decent spring, but you know, spring is not, you know, the regular season when guys are throwing to heat maps to try and get you out. I just don't see the major league quality plate appearances from these guys right now. And if you're going to have minor league quality plate appearances, I'd rather have them with guys who are on the ascension than on the descension, right?
I agree.
Because then there's a chance they might get better. You know, maybe Chaparro comes up, he DHs, he hits a couple of home runs, he gets his confidence, and he becomes a real vital right-handed bat off the bench. You know, maybe you're facing a tough lefty. You can have an extra good hitter in there right now. As far as Dunham goes, look, he's an outfielder. IKF, say what you want about him. He's made some catches this week. Yeah, he's hit some singles.
Yeah.
The guy shouldn't be starting in center field for the New York Yankees. I'm sorry.
It's a disgrace. And it leads right to the roster construction of this team. It really does.
I mean, how many times has he played center field so far this year? I mean, probably 5 or 6 times in the first 20 games. To me, that's just unacceptable. That's just unacceptable.
No doubt about it. And this is the type of stuff that, people want to go, oh, Yankee fans complaining. No, it's because we expect more. We have a higher expectation of what our team is. And when we're going out there and, we're seeing this type of stuff. We're seeing at-bats from Calhoun. We're seeing at-bats from Cordero continuing. We're seeing at-bats from these guys that we know do not deserve to be in there. And at the end of the day, I even got this pushback too, Derek, from a few people when I talked about calling up Chaparro and Dunham is, but they're everyday guys. Well, they would be. I mean, right now, they would be.
Essentially,
and if they're not every day, they'll basically play almost every other day. And maybe they have a day off every now and then. But essentially, they would be major league guys every single day. And this is my problem, is that the Yankees have become very comfortable in where they are right now. And my evidence of this is look at the roster they continue to run out there. With basically saying, let's get through April, guys. Let's figure out a way to get through April. Is there times when, yes, that is what you have to do? Of course there is. We've seen this happen before. But the fact of the matter is that once again, the Yankees, in my opinion, are not putting out their best roster every single day.
Yeah.
They're just not. And that's my problem.
That's a big problem. The best players in the organization should be on the 28-man or 26-man roster, rather. So the Yankees have become very adept at using the rules of the game to kind of have that Scranton shuttle where they send pitchers back and forth and stuff.
Yes.
And they tend to use the minor leagues as almost a loophole way to keep guys on the 40-man. But what the minor leagues used to be for, and option years used to be for, is you call somebody like a Dunham or a Chaparro up when you need them. They get a little taste of the big leagues. They maybe contribute. When somebody comes back off the IL or whatever, you send them down and you say, hey, here were the things that you did well. Here were the things you need to work on. Work on these things. And next time we need you, you'll be even better. And then you call them up again when they need. Right now, the Yankees have gotten like this whole office full of paper shufflers who are like, well, we can use this roster spot and shuffle this guy. And Come on. Let's just put the best fucking players on the roster and let the chips fall as they may. And if they don't fall in your favor, go get new fucking players. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's the way it usually is, right? Isn't that how a team is usually run?
That's how it should be run.
That's how it should be run. That's the way typically that it does go. Of, hey, look, you're not... And, a lot of times I tend to compare with other organizations, but it's all we have to compare to because they're the New York Yankees. They're one team out of many teams. Aaron Hicks would not have lasted this long on many other contending teams. Not a team that is just sitting in the wind going, we'll figure out what the hell happens whenever it happens. Aaron Hicks is still here with the New York Yankees. And by the way, Derek, I got to ask you this question because me and Bad Dog tried to solve this today. What the fuck is his role?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think he has one right now. He's not playing center field. He's not playing left field. I think it's interesting. He's not pinch running. He's not going in for late inning defense. He's obviously not pinch hitting because he can't hit. They're not giving him starts. I think they've realized what we've all known for the last 2 years, which is that he's done as a Major League Baseball player. And I think it's just a matter of time. He's a dead man walking before he's on the golf course getting paid $10 million to practice his chip shots at Winged Foot.
Facts.
I look. I just can't stand watching the guy play. I can't stand his attitude anymore. He's been extremely sullen. And look, I get it. You want to play, but you haven't done enough. I want to play too. Do you see me pissed about it? I want nothing more than to play for the fucking Yankees. But hey, look, that's life. You got to put up or shut up. Yep. He's obviously on his way out, and I have a difficult time feeling bad for him. One thing that bothers me is that the Yankees just don't have a lot of depth in the minor leagues to go to. I thought maybe when the Martian has been playing left field in Double-A, and I thought maybe if he gets off to a hot start, end of May or something, they surprise us and they call him up. He's 3 for 39.
Yep.
3 for 39.
16 walks. I mean,
he's got a lot of walks. I mean,
got a lot of walks.
They're pitching him carefully, but still, you got to do better than 3 for 39.
No doubt.
Especially if you expect to call. I mean, if you just want to play in Double-A, that's fine. But if you expect to get called up, you got to get off to a better start than that. Yeah. And at this point, it's like I'm the biggest Martian fan there is.
Yeah.
But at this point, you got to turn it up, son. Yeah, you got to get going. Your organization needs you.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where settling for decent isn't good. He needed the show off. So, it would have been a nice time right now to see him hitting 364 in Double-A, 305, 288. That would have been very nice right now because what you're doing there is you're pushing the organization. And right now, he's making the organization's decision very, very simple. Leave him where he is. We got 2 super chats. DJ Steele says, imagine wearing a beanie, living in VA in April, near May when it's hot weather. Nah, what's up, Derek and Pete? The Yankees remind me of L.I. Yankee King. Good, but they also suck. Okay. Frank with the super chat says, love watching you guys talk Yankees a baseball. Thank you, my friend. And just speaking of Aaron Hicks real quick, I decided to say, let me look at his baseball reference page. I clicked on it for 1 second. I'm going to show everybody this real quick.
Oh, God. They're going to have to put up a warning label on this.
But even look at his fucking picture. His picture just pisses me to fuck off. I got to be honest. You know what that reminds me of? Like if you were like, what the fuck did Jeffrey Dahmer used to do? He used to jump in like the pictures for like the honorary society.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't belong in it. Aaron Hicks jumped into like the MVP shot. I was like, jeez. And he's just like, he's like, let me just take a picture. It's like he's like so fucking corny. It's like he doesn't give a shit. He's like, you know what? I play for the Yankees and I'm getting paid. And I'm just going to bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch. But to be fair, the Yankees put him in this position.
His OPS plus is 2. That's almost funnier than 0 or a negative number.
Well, his WAR is also -3. So put him together, he's a dumpster fire. Negative .03. I mean, that is fucked up. That is fucked up. I don't know how else to explain that, man. 222 on base percent, a 125 slugging. You got to be swinging with your dick to have a slugging percentage of 125.
If you go back to 2020 and you add up all of his stats, he's had 817 plate appearances and played in 227 games.
My God.
And he's hitting 212 with 18 home runs over essentially a year and a half's worth of games in that time. And he's got a 90 OPS plus, so 10% below league average. I mean, these are just horrendous numbers. I mean, these are almost Joey Gallo level numbers, but without the power.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And eventually the hope is that the New York Yankees are gonna, maybe move on from this guy at some point. But I want to show something else here. This is from NyynewsTV.com. Jake Bauers hits his 8th home run in 13 games. And by the way, too, I'm not here to hype up Jake Bauers and act like he's the greatest friggin' player that's ever lived. But Jake Bauers also lit it up in spring. And he was looking very, very good. They played him a shit ton. First base, outfield. And he's off to a really good start. I don't know. We can sit here and bounce this off each other all day. And both of us will probably be clueless to why the Yankees do what the Yankees do. But again, it goes back to, do they have better options in the minor leagues right now than they do in the major leagues? And Derek, I'm sorry. You notice the question is yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Bauers, like you said, he's not going to make any all-star teams, but there's something to be said for playing the hot hand, especially when you're struggling. And I mean, he's not on the 40-man roster, I don't think. So that would be an issue. That's
but Calhoun and what's his face is. So it ain't too hard to say see you later. Let's move on. But
I'd have no problem exposing Calhoun and Franchi to waivers just to send them down to AAA, because if they get through waivers, you can send them down. I don't see anybody claiming Calhoun for sure. No. Franchi, maybe, just because he had a couple of good games. I could see one of our competitors grabbing him just to keep him, off of our roster or whatever. But I'd have no problem just sending those guys off the 40-man roster and giving some of these young guys a shot. And Bowers isn't that young. I think he's 27, 28 years old.
Yeah, he's up there.
But, like you said, he's hot. And there's something to be said for being in the zone and seeing the ball well.
Jimmy McNeil in here. I gotta shout out when you get horrible comments in the chat, so I have to. Volpe is like Tyler Wade. He can run the bases and nothing else. First of all, you want to compare him to a base runner. He's a better base runner than Tyler Wade is.
Yes.
Tyler Wade had a little bit of speed, but Tyler Wade has dick for brains.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes to baseball IQ, please don't insult. Anthony Volpe be struggling. Don't compare the guy to Tyler Wade. Don't do that.
So Tyler Wade is one of those classic cases where the Yankees take a gifted athlete and try and turn them into a baseball player. I bet you could take Tyler Wade, put him on the basketball court, put him on the tennis court, put him on the volleyball court, and he would be respectable in all of them, but not a baseball player. Same thing with Clint Frazier, not a baseball IQ.
Bingo.
Like you see him on the side, the practice sessions, the showcases or whatever they're called, hitting bombs, hitting moonshots. You throw him a slider, he don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yep.
The thing about Anthony Volpe is you watch him, he is a baseball player. The kid has a high IQ. He's already made adjustments. Look, he's not getting on top of the high fastball yet, but guess what? That's the hardest pitch to get on top of in baseball, and he will get there as he gets stronger. He might make some adjustments. He might say, you know what, I'm going to go to a lighter bat for a couple of weeks so I can get to that pitch, and then they adjust. They start throwing him different. He switches back. Yep. There's things like that in baseball that smart players do. I don't know why I pointed at myself for that, but but I'm more pointing at brains. If you make adjustments and you get better, that's all I want. I just want somebody who's going to. Tyler Wade never made any adjustments. Clint Frazier never made any adjustments.
Right.
Greg Bird never made any adjustments. He got hurt, never was able to catch up to the fastball. I need somebody who's a baseball player first, and that's Anthony Volpe.
No question. I am not, as I said it again before, I'll say it again. I am not concerned with Anthony Volpe whatsoever. If anybody's paid close attention to Volpe, to Peraza, these are two guys that I'm sure everybody has paid attention to. And by the way, yes, Derek has just fired Frankie. This is big news. Big news, Frankie. You're fired. You're gone. But talking about Anthony Volpe again, him and also Peraza have always gotten off the slow starts. So I want to sit here and I want to say that over the next couple of weeks, the next month or so, I think these guys are going to be fine. And I lump them together because they're the youth of the club.
Yeah.
Here's a question I have for you, Derek, because we know how stupid the Yankees are. But could they be this stupid? 3 weeks goes by. Oswald Peraza is hitting 280, stolen bags, doubles, playing good baseball, great defense at third base. Donaldson's ready to come off. What do the Yankees do?
Oh, they're going to totally send Peraza down. I mean, there's no question. I mean, that's not a question. It's
not even a question. Isn't that sad, though? Isn't that sad?
Because Steinbrenner is paying Donaldson $25 million. And to him, he wants to get a return on that. These rich guys, they don't like to let any penny get away.
It's so fucking annoying.
And if he can get a couple of hot weeks out of Donaldson, he's going to look at stunting Peraza's growth and demoralizing him as a collateral damage type of move.
Yeah. Wow. We got a super chat from my friend Rod Thompson. He says, for a $7 billion organization with a $270+ million payroll to have the issues they currently have is absolutely unacceptable. No direction, no foresight, and most importantly, no balls. I said this before, and I will say it again and again and again and again. The New York Yankees drive me mad because if I was Steinbrenner, I would have simply said, hey, Cash, if you want to come back, you got 10 minutes to explain this roster to me.
Yeah.
And I would have had it pulled up on a big-ass board. And I would have said, explain this piece of shit to me that you have me spending.
$300 million.
It's not this hard. It's not this fucking hard. It's not. Every other team does it.
So $300 million. He's not wrong when he says it shouldn't take $300 million. And I don't blame him for being pissed.
100% right.
But, we talked about Frankie and how Frankie's fired now. If I was paying Frankie all sorts of money and he was doing a shit job, I'll give you a couple examples of Frankie's times when Frankie has let me down as an employee. Just because he's tearing me up in the chat here. So I pay Frankie to do my highlights for the game through about the 7th inning, right? And there are times when he'll send me the highlights in the 6th inning, and I'll look at my watch, and I'll look at the scoreboard, and I'll say, Frankie, I didn't know you're getting off early, right? If I'm paying somebody, I expect them to do the job. They're paying Cashman all this money. I believe he's one of the highest paid general managers in baseball. Yeah, you got to start putting up. You got to start putting up some results, my friend.
Yeah.
The Manaea move, I feel like was an interesting move. I forget the other guy's name. Who'd they bring in from
Sabian?
Sabian, yeah, Sabian and Manaea. I want to see what they're getting their fingerprints on, in this organization. Like I see a couple of things that were interesting. Like I thought it was interesting that when Dominguez went down, he immediately played left field. That didn't strike me as a Cashman move. That struck me as a Manaea move, because Cashman would still be thinking, oh, he's our center fielder in 2 years or 3 years. Whereas, Manaea or one of these other guys said, well, this kid's for real. We got a hole in left field. Why don't we just shift him over to left and let him play?
And remember, too, that they're known as arguably the 2 best scouts in Major League Baseball. And that's what they were known for, Manaea and Sabian. So I'm right there with you. And it's funny, too, because when we had Kratz and Braun on, Kratz wouldn't give me the answer to the guy who's the problem. He was saying it's not necessarily Cashman. Yeah. And I came out, of course, with the name Mike Fishman, and he was like, yep, oh, well, without saying it, that's definitely the major problem on his team. And, talking to him a little more, that's the reason IKF is here. That's the reason a lot of these guys are here. It's not baseball moves.
It's these more, lawyers and shit. Yeah.
Yes, it's more throw all the war you can get onto one field and put them somewhere, and you're going to have a winning club. And the Yankees have had winning clubs. They've had 95-plus wins. They get to the playoffs, and they hope to get it done. The thing the Yankees have been missing is the guys in the right spots that do the little things.
Yep.
And they're forgetting about the baseball player. That's what they're forgetting about, and that is a major, major problem.
So to that point, IKF today, he was batting 9th. I don't necessarily like him out in center field, but he came in, got a couple of hits, I think, and that's his role. Do that once or twice a week, maybe not necessarily in center field, but when you need to give somebody a day off, hit 9th and just make contact and do your thing, run the bases. Like, I feel like that's the type of role player. Like, we have that. What I feel like is there's just a certain, and I don't even know how to phrase it. I'm just going to say je ne sais quoi. Just some kind of a certain chemistry that doesn't feel right with this team. It feels like they're just flat. They're just flatter than week-old soda.
It's off.
There's something that I can't put my finger on. It just feels like everybody's swinging for the fences. Glaber doesn't feel like. I look at his stats, and his stats look good. But then I see guys like Whit Merrifield, who might not have the same stats, or Bo Bichette, and they just make the game so much more exciting. They're so much more deadly. They change the game in so many ways. I feel like he's just up there trying to launch home run after home run after home run. It's like, dude, you're a second baseman. Hit a line drive to right field. The home runs will come.
Yep, exactly. And that's a point that even Bad Dog brought up today, is that Gleyber Torres just has the completely wrong idea of what he should be doing up there. You don't need to be a guy that hit the 30-something home runs that year.
Yeah.
The home runs are going to come if you're just thinking right field. They're going to eventually come to you. Let me go to, you know what? I'm going to skip that whole rookie of the year tweet nonsense, because to me it's way too early to even have that discussion. But the Yankees are coming up now to finish this month. They got to go on the road. They got 3 against the Twins and then 4 against the Rangers. Oh, by the way, too, before we even move forward on that, I got to give a little shout out to Clark Schmidt, who looked decent today.
Oh, he looked good.
He looked a little better today.
I like that he flushed the cutter, essentially, today. Use it. Jack Curry had it right. He said, use it sparingly to keep guys honest. But it's not a good enough major league pitch to throw it as often as he was throwing it. I thought he was solid. I mentioned, I'm not sure if you saw my post game, probably didn't, but there's a mental side of the game that I think we got to peek into. which is he wasn't thinking about the cutter. The cutter wasn't on his mind. He was using his muscle memory to throw the pitches that got him there, the fastball, the curveball. And I feel like that just kind of freed him up to pitch more confidently.
Yeah, no doubt. And Jamie McNeil again is definitely just gonna get the horrible commenter of the fucking year. Mark my words, Volpe is a Torres in the making. They're not even the same type of player, my God.
No.
That was so off. They're so far different of a player. That is so far off. But anyway, I'm giving this guy way too much time today. Going back to what you said before, when you were talking about there being just something missing with the Yankees. It just feels like something is off. Again, man, I tried to get this out of Kratz because Kratz knows Boone. I tried to press him on it. He loves Aaron Boone. He thinks he's great. I'm not saying everything is on Aaron Boone, and I'm not. Everybody knows I'm not a fan of him as a manager. I'm not. Here's my thing. At some point, you got to start looking at leadership.
Yes.
And it has
that point
to
was 2 years
on
ago.
Leadership. That's how exactly. And I'm sorry, but flat losing is okay. It happens. And I don't mean okay as in you lose a season. I mean you're gonna lose. So 662 games, nobody goes undefeated.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me is that why do they always look like they're at a funeral?
Yeah.
The Yankees could be down 2-0 and the whole dugout is dead. They're like, oh, yep, that's it. Pack it in, guys. Time to go home.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely concerning. There's definitely an energy problem. I saw somebody comment, I think it was Warlord, who said the Yankees need an RBI machine lefty. And I feel like that's very, I mean, Rizzo's having a nice year, but really you need at Yankee Stadium, you really need 2 or 3 Rizzos. Really like playing at Yankee Stadium, you have 3 Rizzos essentially in the lineup. I mean, how deadly is that to pitch through? And the Yankees just haven't had that and that's a Cashman thing. That's an analytics thing where they don't care about righty lefty. I don't know. I feel like, to your point about the energy, all that stuff comes from leadership, right? The leader's supposed to set the tone and get you guys pumped up. Maybe not showing them enough highlight reels of the 04 Red Sox.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't a brilliant idea, by the way, but that's our amazing coaching staff here. We got a couple of super chats. Jeremy says we are missing a Kyle Tucker. That would be amazing. Kyle Tucker's an amazing ball player. He says, Derek, unban me, please.
So I don't even know who this guy is. He keeps saying that. I think I looked for him and I couldn't. On my stream, I use a program that shows the comments right next to it says add to screen, and then right next to it is a button that says hide user. And I have these sausage fingers, and you guys might notice if you watch my streams all the time, I wear these fingerless gloves. It's because I have really bad arthritis. So a lot of times when I hit the button, I hit the wrong thing. And so I have like 300 people banned, and some of them are legit assholes because I ban assholes, but I've banned a lot of good commenters by accident. So I looked for them. I couldn't find them. I'll give it another look. You have my word.
And then we have another one here. If I can pull it up, I got to look at it on this one because I can't see for shit. Glaber is frustrating me again. This is from Ruben. Schmidt has not mastered the lineup the second time around, let alone the third time around. I would have preferred to take him out after the 5th and use it as a building point. Well, it is, that
hindsight's 2020. It's easy to say that's a Monday morning quarterback or whatever.
Derek, would you say that the last best Yankee lineup was 09? When you look at it and go, that's an amazing lineup.
I feel like the lineup hasn't been the same since Robinson Cano left, honestly. You need that type of hitter. And I'm surprised the Yankees don't draft more lefties with that classic lefty swing. I have hopes for Trey Sweeney, but I
was about to say Sweeney, of course, our future center fielder, Spencer Jones.
Yeah, Spencer's looking good.
Austin Wells.
They're getting more into it, and I think that's something they've recognized over the last couple of years. It's like, hey, where are the lefties in the system?
Yep. Guys, we're 39 likes away from 100. Let's get there.
Somebody retweeted my lineup today and said, way too right-handed. And I was just like, well, what other option? It's not like we have lefties flown out of our ass, honey.
Man.
Come on. It's not my job to get lefties.
Facts. And there, that's another one. Here's a guy that I was talking about a couple, I think it was last deadline that I really liked. Jock Peterson would have made a lot of sense for the Yankees.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Jock would have made a lot of sense for the Yankees. And these are old Yankee moves. Like, he's a classic old Yankee move.
Frankie, what's Michael Conforto doing?
Oh, that's a good one to look up.
I wanted Yoshida, too. He had a couple of home runs today.
I think he's going to be fine. People are shitting on that guy. I'm like, well, take it easy. I think Yoshida's going to be okay.
Matsui, when he first came to the major leagues, for the first month, hit about 200 with no power. They were calling him Groundzilla. They don't throw a two-seamer in Japan. So
that's right.
So he's adjusting to that. Conforto's hitting 220 with 4 home runs. Still better than Aaron Hicks.
Shit. I'm better than Aaron Hicks. But going back to 2009, speaking of what Derek was saying, this is a Yankee lineup, folks. And I don't care about the player. I'm just talking about how it was broken down. Righty, lefty, switch. Righty, switch. Lefty, switch.
Yeah.
What was Yankee that Stadium. Why did we get away from that so much?
What was that 2000? I feel like in 2017, Yankees came pretty close with a good.
Yes, I can tell you.
So Gardy, Ellsbury was on the team, didn't play much. Hicks had a decent year that year. Yep. Gregorius, Didi was some that was huge. 25 homers. Bird, yeah, he came up late. He hit 9 dingers. It's a combination of having some lefties, having some guys who can switch hit. Castro was a 300 hitter on that team. Yankees don't have a lot of 300 hitters now, but he was a 300 hitter without power. He was. You need some of those contact guys. Gardy that year had a 350 on base percentage. Yeah. He was a solid player. And I forgot Ellsbury was on that team. I feel like I haven't seen Ellsbury since 2012.
Nobody has. Nobody. It's confirmed that he is a missing person indeed, and it's been
there's posters up and have you seen me
everywhere about him? But yeah, again, man, I guess the most frustrating thing to me right now about being a Yankee fan, and a lot of times you got to explain this to people because they don't get it. They're like, well, your team is still good, and we're like, it's not the point. That is not the point that people don't understand. Is you got every fan out there, every fan that is a legitimate Yankee fan. Probably they play MLB The Show.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they don't play with the Yankees' current roster.
Right.
I'll put money on it. They start a franchise. First thing they do is fire Aaron Boone, and they put some guy named Rusty Dickens in as the coach. Who the hell cares? And then they go ahead and they trade Donaldson. They get rid of Hicks, and they get some new blood on the team.
Yeah.
But we're sitting there ripping our hair out of our head. Going, Benintendi was a good move. Benintendi goes away. Okay, so are we going to get somebody else? Nope. We'll stick with where we are. And it's just, again, run it back, and hope for a different result. And who the fuck are they fooling?
Yeah.
Because it's not us.
I have an analogy. And so people say that to me all the time. Like, you're a Yankees fan. I had a boss say this to me and this was the analogy I used. So you're a Yankees fan. Why are you complaining? They're in the playoffs every year. And I said, they have the most money. They should be in the playoffs every year. We expect that, all their meeting expectations. How would you feel if I came into work every day and met expectations? Right? Yeah. It's like if you own a race car, and you always finish in the top 10. Awesome. But you never fucking win.
Yep.
You don't have any trophies. 1 trophy in 20 years, despite having the most expensive car on the track for 20 straight years. That's why we get pissed.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're useless. If you're never winning, what do you do? It's definitely not good enough.
How's Benintendi doing?
I haven't. I'll double check for you right now. Let's see. Let's see how good old Andrew Benny is. Andrew Benintendi. Let's see. Baseball Reference. He is hitting .284.
That's not bad.
74 at-bats. Has not homered yet. .338 on-base percentage. So not terrible. Has the average.
He would have homered at Yankee Stadium for sure.
There, no doubt about it. So the average is definitely there for him. Speaking of our wonderful Yankees, they are about to go on the road. They'll start against the Minnesota Twins. It'll be Johnny Brito versus Sonny Gray, who's off to a terrific start. Our good friend Sonny Gray. What are you expecting these last 7 games of April for the New York Yankees?
Well, what I'm expecting, I don't know what I really don't. I don't have any expectations for anything different. However, I will say this: I really want to kick Sonny Gray's ass. I just don't like the guy.
Definitely.
I just don't like the fucking guy. He came here and he did nothing but complain and bitch and moan, and he played better out of town. It's like, hey, you got to earn your pinstripes, buddy.
Damn
and I've never liked the guy. So I want to kick his ass. You'd like to take 2 out of 3 from the Twins just because they're the Twins and you should beat them. And then also, you're playing Texas. I don't know if last I heard DeGrom had some forearm tightness. Surprise, surprise. I don't know if we're going to see him or not. But if we face DeGrom, I would like to beat DeGrom. That would be beautiful.
I love Frankie's comment here. Derek would block Sonny Gray with his sausage fingers.
Oh!
We got a super chat from Ronnie. He says, Hal can't be too mad at a $300 million par roster. He keeps giving Cashman multi-year contracts. I mean,
it's his best friends. What was the quote in Jerry Maguire? It's not show friends, it's show business, baby. Yeah, you gotta make the best decision for the organization. And I would not have brought Cashman back. I would not have brought Boone back. I called for both of them to be fired last year.
Yeah, no doubt about
to me,
it.
it's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I would have no doubt. I mean, it was as clear as day, in my opinion, to get rid of both of those guys and start fresh. I'll tell you this right now. If you had any half-wit as a GM, the Yankees roster is not the way it looks right now. There's so many red flags. There was so many red flags in the offseason. And by the way, when you looked at the Yankee roster and you looked at the pitching staff and you said, well, Volpe has a chance and this guy has a chance and that guy has a chance. Of course, as a Yankee fan, you should be excited. You should sit there and go, great. But then when you dive in a little bit and you go, there's no starting pitching depth, and we started talking about that in spring when guys started to go down, there was not even any Chi Gonzalez's out there. Any AAA veteran that you could be like, well, sometimes you need these guys. We don't even have that. There's no depth at all on this team. Outfield, anything at all. It's kind of like it's the prospects or nothing is the way it was going. And again, man, I mean, we can continue to go back and forth on this all day long, but unfortunately, Cashman's here for another 4 years. Boone is here for another multiple years. And my prediction is, I'll be honest, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't think either one of them make it through their contract.
Oh, yeah. But first of all, I lost some of what you were saying there because I was watching the YouTube stream and I had the Zoom behind it and your voice wasn't matching your head and I was wigging out. I just had some Lion's Mane mushroom coffee and I thought they put the wrong kind of mushrooms in there. I was wigging out. I was like, am I dying? Am I dying right now? And then I realized I just had the wrong Zoom thing out or the wrong window open. But yeah, I think Boone is probably more likely to lose his job than Cashman just because, he's, shit rolls downhill, right? So he's lower than Cashman. Cashman's been there 25 years. I don't think there's any way that Cashman can lose his job just because, I mean, he's friends with Hal. They're best buds.
You think if the Yankees ever missed out in the playoffs, they will keep them or get rid of both of them? Or
they've already missed out on the playoffs. They missed out on the playoffs multiple times in the last 10 years.
That is true.
So, and we've seen, and this is one of the weirdest things, is that there's not really necessarily a correlation between how the Yankees do one season and their manager the next season. If you get one win away from the World Series with your manager, with a team that probably shouldn't have been there, and then you get rid of the manager, that's kind of an odd move, right?
Yeah.
And what was the reason? Excuse me, what was the reason? The reason was because he was tough on Gary Sanchez. And what the fuck happened to Gary Sanchez when you stopped being tough on him?
Yep, he became everything that Girardi probably knew he would become.
Fat piece of shit.
Yeah, and what Tony Pena warned him about, and what Larry Boa warned them about. Larry Boa came out immediately, if you remember.
Yep.
And he was like, the guy came in overweight. He wasn't dedicated. And again, this goes up all the way. And I don't want to make this sound like I'm giving Hal a pass, because at the end of the day, he's the fucking boss. He could come in there tomorrow and go, you know what? This is not what I wanted. All of you are gone. And kick them all out the fucking door. So, he can easily do that, and he hasn't. So, that is what it is. Guys, do me a big favor. We are up to 40 reviews on Apple Podcast. We're continuing to climb the charts. I think we're getting closer to that top 10. So go ahead and leave a 5-star review for Designated Spittaz on Apple Podcast, also on Spotify. Wherever you guys listen to us, leave a like right here. You already know dealio. Derek, any last words for these wonderful New York Yankees?
Get your shit together. And I mean it. Martian's got to start hitting, and we got to do something about the whole left field situation. We got to have somebody out there who can hit.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. The young guys in the minor leagues keep hitting, force the issue. It kind of sucks that even Austin Wells had the broken rib because, you know, he could have made some sort of difference. But at the end of the day, guys, all I got to say is the Yankees roster, they need to get this shit right. They need to get it going, put it together. If you know Stanton's going to be out for so long, if you know, Donaldson's out, which we're already doing with Peraza, get somebody up here who can make a fucking difference. And I'm not even talking about be a guy that's going to hit 300. I cannot be convinced of why the hell Shaparo's not here. He doesn't have to play every single day. But as Derek said, a guy that can put the ball over the fence, he could do it. If he gets hot for 3 or 4 games, you might have 3 or 4 home runs. And that's really all you need. At the end of the day, it comes down to this. Who's a better player and who will make the Yankees a better threat every day? Calhoun, Shaparo, or friggin' this other guy in the outfield, whatever the hell his name is.
Cordero, Dunham.
Cordero.
Yeah.
And Dunham out there. I don't expect the Yankees to make any moves soon. I think they're going to ride it for as long as they can until Donaldson's back. And Derek is probably right. We're so fucking stupid that Peraza might be doing really well, and they'll be happy to send him back down.
Can we actually, though, can we give them props, though, for at least trying Peraza at third base? I think that's progress.
No.
We can't get on him without celebrating progress that we should have made a long time ago, but progress.
By the way, it's also coming after Aaron Boone said that will not happen.
Oh, yeah. That tells you what the word of the fucking manager means. Jesus Christ.
Yes. He's not doing jack shit. He is not doing dick. So, guys, with that being said, this has been another amazing episode. Sorry about the little technical difficulty there.
We'll trim that out. We'll trim that.
Got some. Yeah, we'll kick it to the fucking side. Who cares? But with that being said, guys, we are out. We will never come back on a Designated Spittaz track. Derek, until next time, my friend. See you guys later.
Before it hits the front page.